This week we are reading Fire and Blood for the first time, and genuinely I'm so intimidated by the size of this book. I started this a couple days ago and I'm only on page 40 because I just haven't been picking this up. I don't know. I think genuinely it's the size that's impacting me, and also the fact that I might be in a book slump, to be honest. Like, I just haven't really been wanting to pick up other books either. I'm going back into my fan fiction phase slightly. Like, I'm trying not to go there because when I go there, like, I neglect all actual published books. But I need to read this. I need to get through this. The new season is coming out on Sunday, so I wanted to read this before that, obviously. But I've only seen House of Dragon season 1, and then I've only seen a couple episodes of the first season of Game of Thrones, so I really don't know what's happening much in Game of Thrones. I do know much more about the Targaryens and what's gonna happen in season 2 of House of the Dragons because I've been spoiled a bunch and have looked up the wiki pages and all of that. But I didn't realize, like, they were so violent. Like, the first 2 chapters, Aegon's conquest, where he's like, hey y'all, I'm gonna be king. Y'all are just gonna be my lords. So, either, like, bend the knee or I'll kill you with my dragon. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, oh, you know? Because so far in House of Dragons, they haven't really done that. Like, obviously, what's it called? Like, I keep forgetting all the names, but, like, you know, now the war between the Greens and the Blacks is gonna start, and I keep forgetting that they're actually, like, the Targaryens are violent. So far we haven't seen that much violence. I mean, we have seen Daemon be pretty violent. We haven't seen all, you know, Aegon's violent, they're violent. So far I'm like, oh, wait, why do I not like the Targaryens? Like, you know, because in Game of Thrones, I only like the Targaryens, but here I was rooting for Dorne, not the Targaryens. So, you know, it's like a whole thing. So, because I've only really watched House of Dragons, not Game of Thrones, all that, I'm a strong Targaryen lover, supporter, I don't know. And I guess my rankings for season 1 would be Lucerys 1. Just thinking about that kid makes me so sad. So Lucerys, Rhaenyra, I think Jacaerys, and then Baela and her sister probably. I think that would be my top 5. I'm not really like a Daemon fan because, yeah, but now I see that Daemon is just like a true Targaryen. Like, he's just so violent, and that's just how the Targaryens are like. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading this book. I need to know more about it, and I desperately need to read this book before the new season comes out, even though maybe I shouldn't because it would just spoil a bunch, but I don't care. I want to read it. And yeah, I don't know, I think it's genuinely just the size, because I've been like looking up like Harwin and Rhaenyra fanfics. Like, why am I trying to read that instead of this, you know? I gotta focus, I gotta just read, so we're gonna sit right here, we're gonna read, and all of that. There are so many names, like so many lords, so many brothers and cousins, and I cannot remember all of this. Like, what the fuck? Why are there so many people? So I am on page 82 and I'm checking along with this book. I'm trying to at least reach the next chapter, which is at page 110. So I have at least 30 pages more for that. I'm up to the point where King Aenys, which I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he died, which, I mean, I'm not gonna say good riddance because I don't want him to die, and I don't want anyone to die really, but he was not fit to be king. Like, he was just not fit to be king. His relationship with his younger brother Maegor really reminds me of the relationship Viserys and Daemon have in House of the Dragons. Like, both Aenys and Maegor. So Maegor's the more like violent one, and then Aenys. I feel like that's not how I say his name. I don't know, but he is much more like artsy and calm, and he's so indecisive and everything, and that's totally Viserys. But I feel like Maegor is much more violent than Daemon is. Like, Maegor is super violent. Now that I'm like reading this, I'm like, never mind. Aegon the Conqueror was not a bad king. Like, oh my god, the Sevens. I hate them in the show, and I hate the Hightowers in the show, and just their like god shit. I hate them in the book too. I hate them 100 years before the House of Dragons takes place. They're so annoying constantly. And I don't know if it's because I'm just not a fan of religion in general, because it just like indoctrinates and makes especially poor people act like sheep, and I just like hate seeing it in real life. I hate reading it in books and everything, but pissing me off, honestly, the Sevens. But now we're gonna see all of the violence Maegor is gonna do, because he's already been cruel, but I can assume since he has the title Maegor the Cruel, he's gonna get even worse. Visenya, she has to be like 75 or 80 years old now. How is she still alive? She's still going on Dragonback. She's still kind of fighting, like doing planning, all that shit. Like, is Visenya honestly like the longest Targaryen to ever live, or what? Happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm officially on page like 205, but I'm actually a little bit farther along because I'm reading on my iPad, and I'm just marking every time I reach a new chapter in the physical book. But many things have occurred. I'm reading much faster on my iPad, and I much prefer. I think the book is like a little too small, the pages too small, words too small, book so annoying to hold, so I'm reading on here. But I don't know if I mentioned already, but Aenys Targaryen died. He was the first one. He died of extreme stress. And he died of stress when Rhaena and Aegon were stuck with the Lannisters. And Rhaena and Aegon were like getting at it at the Lannisters. She gets pregnant and is back in like the main area. Aenys dies, Maegor becomes king, and then at some point Aegon tries to like take back his seat as king, and then he gets killed by Maegor. And the sad part, I mean, sad that he died, but his dragon, he got killed on his dragon, and the little baby dragon died. He got like eaten by Balerion. And then after that, like, Maegor was being so fucking cruel, and then killed another one of Queen Alyssa and Aenys Targaryen's children, which Queen Alyssa had such a tragic life, and I'm a fan of Queen Alyssa. I love Alyssa. And so then Maegor finally fucking dies. That death was not violent enough for me. Like, he deserved to be beheaded. Maegor was horrible. Fucking vile human being. He died, I think he died a little bit after Visenya died, which Visenya died like so old. I can't figure out, like, I think the Targaryen one that like no one knows he's a Targaryen in Game of Thrones. I think he was super old, so he might have lived longer, but I can't find the list of like the longest living Targaryens. But Visenya, she lived long. At that point, Jaehaerys becomes king because he's the next male in line. Rhaena, she's like still alive, but she kind of escapes to this other place, and she just kind of like randomly gets married to this random guy. But then they kind of like allude to the fact that she could be, I think she's bisexual, borderline like could have been lesbian or something. Because they say like the love of her true love or whatever was her new husband's sister. And I don't know if they meant it in a romantic way, like they probably don't, since this is written from the Maester's point of view, but it was giving by. It was giving by. And Jaehaerys is like going to become king, but he's still too young, so his mom, Queen Alyssa, she is like ruling with the Hand, who's Rhaegar Baratheon, which Rhaegar Baratheon had a bitch moment. He was a bitch, but then we resolved this issue, so he's no longer a bitch. But they have like a bunch of issues there, and then Jaehaerys is finally, well, a bunch of issues because Jaehaerys decided he was gonna marry his younger sister Alicent. I kind of like them together. Like I know like I shouldn't say that because they're siblings, but like in the Targaryen couples, I think they might be one of my favorite couples. Or no, I think my favorite couple so far. I haven't really read about the rest of the couples, so that is a whole thing. Because Queen Alyssa, I mean, I understand where Queen Alyssa was coming from. Like she already had her older one of her sons die because of the fact that the common people and the septums and all that really didn't like the custom of incest. So she didn't want that to happen. So I understand all of Queen Alyssa's like reasonings and everything for what she did. So that's why I can't dislike her for any of that. But now they're finally on the throne, and they're actually like, no one really cares that they're married, so yeah. And then Alyssa is still getting pregnant. She's like 40 something, she's still getting pregnant. For that time, I feel like that's crazy. Anyways, Alyssa is just like a super woman, clearly. Rhaegar Baratheon is still kind of being a bitch because she's like pregnant with her second kid from Rhaegar, and she already had like 6 kids with Ennis earlier. And so he's being a little bitch because he's like, oh no, it's gonna be fine, but she's like 40 something. Like people die in their 40s at this time. So I'm not getting it, because if people kept dying in like their 50s and 60s back then, what was the normal age of menopause? Because menopause now is like 40s, 50s. So why is menopause the same age then as it is now, but like they were dying so much earlier? The song from Sabrina Carpenter, I bet you don't embarrass me, motherfucker. Like, if Jaehaerys starts becoming a little bitch, I'm gonna be embarrassed, because I like Jaehaerys right now, and I like Alicent. I like both of them. So, yeah, and I still haven't decided what I think about Aegon the Conqueror and Visenya. I liked Rhaenys, the younger sister. Visenya had a lot of similarities to Alicent. I don't know if I already talked about this, maybe, I don't know, but Visenya, I don't know. And then Aegon, I still can't get over the fact that he just like showed up and he was like, if y'all don't bend the knee to me, I'm killing you. I don't think I'm a fan of that. Queen Alyssa's ending is so tragic. It makes me like genuinely so sad. The way she goes, "Save my babe," she whispered. "I will go to see my boys again. The crone will light my way." She had such a tragic life. But she gave birth to Jocelyn, who I guess is a Baratheon. But I'm trying to like, is Jocelyn related to Rhaenys? I don't know, like wasn't Rhaenys like part Baratheon or something? Oh yeah, Jocelyn is Rhaenys' mother. Wait. Update. Arya Targaryen. Like, what the fuck happened? Genuinely, what the fuck happened? Because she, like, escaped kind of with Balerion. And they, like, the theories that they ended up in Old Valyria. And then when she came back, she had, like, she was so sick. And she literally had, like, things in her, like snakes and shit. And Balerion himself, the dragon, like the biggest dragon in the world, and he was also injured. So it's like, what the fuck happened there? I like want them to talk about Old Valyria so bad, but like they don't know anything about it, because this is like, it's written by the Maesters. It's basically written like a history book, so if they don't know the history, then they can't tell us. But it's like what the fuck happened? And like, what are those things in her? Most of the Targaryen women have had such tragic lives. Y'all, Daenerys is dead. Oh my god. She was just a baby. She was so young. So sad. Happy Thursday, guys. I've got some opinions. So first of all, I'm a big fan of Alicent, like Queen Alicent. I really love her. Actually, I love her as a ruler, and I love her as a person and as a mother so far. I have heard some people say that they don't like Jaehaerys and Alicent, so I'm kind of waiting for something to happen. But for the moment, I actually love, well, I won't love both of them. I like Jaehaerys, and I do think I love Alicent. I think like right now, my favorite character might be Alyssa, who is the daughter of Jaehaerys and Alicent, and Alyssa just got married to Baelon, and they have officially become my favorite Targaryen couple, which once again feels weird to say because they are siblings, but they like actually really love each other, and their personalities match so well together. Like Baelon, there's like a line that says he hasn't stopped smiling since he got married. And that's like so cute. I'm trying to like forget the fact that they're siblings, okay? And then Alyssa is just like, the comments she makes, like she's, and they've already had Viserys, and they're gonna have Daemon, and like Daemon is so his mother, like Daemon is so the male version of Alyssa, and I think that's like really cute. And then Aemon, which I thought was so cute that Baelon would kept following Aemon around when they were like babies, like so sweet. And Aemon married Jocelyn, and they had Rhaenys. So now we have Viserys and Rhaenys alive, so these are the people that were in House of the Dragons, so we're like inching closer to the Dance of the Dragons. But yeah, I feel like it's interesting that the two like fathers of these two people who are kind of, they're not going to be battling for the throne, but like they are going to be the two heirs that, you know, the throne is like for. How the two brothers are super close, so that's interesting, you know. I feel bad for Queen Alicent because she's lost so far like 4 children, like 3 I think in infancy, and then Daenerys died in like with the shivers, the sickness, and that was like so sad. When I was reading that, I was like, I felt so bad because Daenerys like was really like the realm's delight, like everyone loved her, and she was the first daughter, and Alicent loved her so much. It was so sad seeing it. And then the fact that she's lost like 4 kids. I think in total she has like 13 kids, including the kids that did die. I'm actually only at the part where she has 12 kids because she, like her mother, is having kids super late. So many kids. I'm trying to keep track of like who is who and what personality they have and all of that, but yeah. Y'all, Della literally just died giving birth to Emma. She was 18. She was so scared too. Oh my god. I feel like when I was reading that, I was like, I knew it was gonna happen, but oh my god, it's so sad. Princess Alyssa literally died. She literally died at 24. I didn't know she died so young. I did know Aegon, the 3rd brother, died. I didn't know Alyssa died. The fuck? What the actual fuck just happened with Sarah Targaryen? Like, okay, yeah, she was a little bit mean. Like, she was cruel. Some of the things she did, definitely do not condone those actions. But Jaehaerys is being so overdramatic. I mean, like, I get, like, for the time, whatever. But, like, oh, she's not my daughter, whatever. And then she's like, okay, look at this. Queen Alysanne wept to hear it. They have made our daughter into a whore, she said. She always was, the king replied. Fuck you, bitch. What? You don't talk about your daughter like that. It's kind of funny that she literally went to a pleasure house. She was... Oh my god. What the actual fuck? Poor fucking Alysanne. Of the 13 children she bore to King Jaehaerys, only 3 of them would survive. What the actual... Oh my god, what the fuck? Princess Gale? Or Gael? Seduced and abandoned by a traveling singer, the princess had given birth to a stillborn son, then overwhelmed by grief, walked into the waters of Blackwater Bay and drowned. Happy Saturday, guys. I am on page 403 and I didn't read yesterday. I know, I was not feeling it. I think I'm too much in this Targaryen world. I'm reading this and it's a break, and I'm also watching House of the Dragons, the first season, for the 3rd time. So I'm just like, too much Targaryen business, basically. But I am presently at the part where it's like the Targaryen generation that we see in the first season of House of the Dragons. So Rhaenyra, Daemon, Alicent, their kids, Laena, Leonor, you know. And so I'm going through this a little faster because I do know what happened and what is happening, because I have watched the show 3 times now. But I am noticing the differences between the book and the show, which I think they're very interesting differences. I think the main difference is really the ages. Alicent was aged down in the show. She's 18 when she marries Viserys. Rhaenyra was aged up, so she was like 9 when they married. I think Alicent and Rhaenyra have a 10-year age gap, and she also has a 10-year age gap, Rhaenyra, with Aegon. So, you know, she's like equally close to Aegon in age than she is Alicent. And in the book, they have more of like a evil stepmom relationship instead of like ex-friends to enemies. She's very close with Laena because they're closer in age. Oh my god, I did not know that Corlys and Rhaenys had such a big age gap. They have 21 years. Corlys was 37 when he married Rhaenys, who was 16. Like, Corlys is really described as like an amazing sailor, an amazing person, honestly, in the book. And so like I have that opinion of him, but that age gap is, even for the time period in this book, that age gap is crazy. The other thing I wanted to mention, so in the book, Rhaenys is never considered as queen. I know Alicent wanted her to be queen, but Jaehaerys basically was like, no, she'll never be queen. And he already decided that in 92 AC. And then when the council happened in like 100 or 101 AC, she was like never considered as one of the potential candidates. So who was her son Laenor. So Laenor Velaryon, who marries Rhaena, was considered the a potential king with Viserys. So it's not actually, Rhaenys is not the queen who never was. It's more like Laenor is the king who never was, because, yeah. Y'all, I'm so scared because I know Lucerys is gonna die. But like, I didn't know it was the Baratheons. Like, he went to Storm's End, I think that's what it's called. I didn't know that that's where the Baratheons were at. And Rhaenys is a Baratheon. And technically Lucerys is too, even though. But, oh, what? That's so fucked up. I freaking love this song. I don't know where it's playing, but hey guys, it is now 12 a.m. and I'm reading still. I'm on page 456, so we're reading, we're vibing. Actually, we're not really vibing because I just had to read Lucerys' death. And Lucerys is my favorite character. He has always been and will always be my favorite house, or my favorite Targaryen. And having to read it, like having to watch it, so painful. Having to read it, so painful. Tomorrow I'm watching the last episode of season 1 with my mom, so that's also gonna be very painful. So all around, painful. To read about Blood and Cheese, which I don't think anyone can like agree with Blood and Cheese. Blood and Cheese was horrible. Like, I was like, I didn't know all the details, and I was sitting there, I was like, what the fuck, genuinely. I definitely would have supported like Aemon getting slaughtered, but Helena's kids, absolutely not. Those were innocent babies, and just like Lucerys, they were innocent and they did not deserve that at all. I mean, only one got killed. I don't know why I'm saying they, but like, they all definitely got traumatized. The fact that Helena had to pick, and she picked Maelor? She picked Maelor. Like, and poor Helena, like, Helena genuinely is the most innocent of all the Greens. Like, she didn't do anything except get forced into marrying her whore, rapist, horrible brother. And it's so unfair to her. And I just also think it would have been so much more, like, satisfying for it to have been one of Alicent's kids, you know? Bro. I know Rhaenys was gonna die, but like, but they had to 2v1 because they knew that Meleys, my girl, she would have killed one of them. And she badly injured Aegon, so I mean, I'm absolutely not for any of the dragons getting hurt, so I'm not celebrating Sunfire getting injured, but I am celebrating Aegon this injury because that piece of shit deserves death. Here's who I believe deserves death. As much as I hate Allison, I don't think I would wish her death. I would wish death on Aegon. Aegon the Usurper. Otto Hightower. Fucking bitch. Larys Strong. Fucking bitch. Aemon Targaryen. Hate that bitch. Yeah, really these four. Jace fucking died. I can't with all this death. And like, I knew he was gonna die. I didn't know his ending though. I didn't know that was how he was gonna die. And like, I don't know. I'm like kind of torn. Obviously, I wish it had been like a little more, I don't know, like he had taken down someone. But at the same time, he did. He was like, he would have been such a good king. He literally got all the riders and they all descended upon all the fleets and everything. And then little Aegon escaping on his little dragon. And then being so guilty because he wasn't able to help his little brother. Oh. They're too young to deal with this and feel like this. It's like, it's so unfair. Fucking Otto and fucking Viserys. The older one. Happy Sunday, guys. I still have 35% more to finish of this book. I'm dying. I keep wanting to sit down and read, and I'm like, I can't do this. I am so overwhelmed by the Targaryens. There's so much happening. I'm consuming way too much Targaryen content, and I can't do it anymore. And I know I have to finish. I want to finish for the sake of the video. I feel like it'd be such a letdown if I'm like, I end the video with 70% done and not 100. Like, I feel like you guys want to watch everything, or maybe not. Like, it's probably gonna be like, no one watched this, and I'm forcing myself to stick with a schedule and no one cares. But like, I don't know. Maelor died, and I'm getting tired of kids dying. I'm genuinely getting tired of kids dying. I'm not for this. Any side kids dying, no. And his death was so sad that he was just a little baby. I hate when they're just little baby boys and baby girls and they're... Propose new thing. We kill all the adults. And then we let the kids do their thing. Because I'm tired of these kids getting abused left and right. First Lucerys. Then Jacaerys. No, wait. Lucerys, Jaehaerys, Lucerys. Wait, no, I already said Lucerys, Jaehaerys, Maelor. I think those are the 4 kids so far that are dead. Like, is everyone in the realm just fucked up in the head? Because why are you, like, killing a kid? Why are you killing a kid? Like, I know he's a traitor, whatever. He's, like, 6 or 7. I don't know. They didn't specify how old he is, but in the photos, like, they did a little drawings. He's a kid. He was so scared. He had his little dragon egg. Stop killing dragons and kids. Stop killing dragons and kids. I've just got to say, fuck the betrayers. Fuck them. I'm looking like absolute shit right now, but oh my god, Daemon and Aemon just died. That was an absolutely crazy death. Much more, like, more embarrassing on Aemon's end. I think honestly he he just was so sure that because he had Vhagar, the biggest dragon, that he was invincible, and clearly he wasn't. Daemon sacrificed himself to kill Aemon and for Rhaenyra's cause. I do think, though, that Rhaenyra is literally descending into madness. Like, she does not trust anyone. And, like, I'm so confused because if she's okay with Daemon having relations with the White Worm, why is she not okay with him having relations with Needle? First of all, like, I'm hoping, like, him and Needle weren't actually doing anything just because she is young and whatever. I'm not a fan of Daemon. I don't like Daemon. I understand he's a complex character, but at the end of the day, he's still a horrible man. But I just think, like, Rhaenyra is really descending into madness, and, like, her not trusting Adam. I mean, clearly Needles was not going to betray them. And it's just honestly, like, dumb, because even if Needles is having an affair with your husband, like, you need those extra dragons. Like, how do you think you're going to win this war without the dragons? So she needed those dragons, and now she chased off Needles, and I'm guessing Adam Valerian is not coming back unless he is, which I'm hoping he is. But yeah, I'm like, you know. And with Bella, I really like Bella's character. I'm wondering, like, what she's gonna do. So far she's kind of like locked in her room on Dragonstone, so I hope she does have like at least some storyline, you know. So yeah, that is that. Also, I don't know if I talked about this already. Probably not, I don't know. I keep getting confused because I'm filming different clips left and right, but what happened in the, like, town with the two betrayers, and then Prince Daeron is there, and then, like, the Green Army, and, like, what that army is doing to the people of that town. First of all, they burn the town, and then they're like, all of that destruction and pain and torture I'm, like, reading about, it's, like, genuinely affecting me, and I don't think I want to watch this, actually. Like, I don't think it's gonna be in the second season House of the Dragon, but if there's more seasons, it might be in the third, the fourth, whatever. I don't think I'm gonna watch that. I don't want to see all this pain, like, play out. I'm really not a fan of that. This is a very heavy book. I knew it was heavy, but I feel like the more and more I'm reading, I'm really realizing that I'm also getting really tired. I'm gonna switch to reading on my phone because I think I feel like the writing's a little too small on my iPad, so I'm gonna switch to that. And yeah, happy Monday, guys. I decided today is the last day I'm reading this on camera. I will continue it, but it's the end of the video. I'm gonna read as much as I can today and then call it a day in a video. After Maelor died, Helena found out and she killed herself. Joffrey died after a shit ton of dragons died. And, like, I'm so mad because it's kind of Rhaenyra's fault, not gonna lie. Because at this point, she starts literally not trusting anyone. And so she literally throws Corlys Velaryon in the little prison jail thing. And Adam Velaryon, like, leaves with the dragon. If Adam had been there with the dragon, I think he definitely could have at least helped get rid of all the street people, and so all the dragons wouldn't have died. Literally 4 dragons in the pit. And Joffrey comes with with Syrax, right? Yeah. And then I keep confusing Syrax and Sunfire because they both start with S's, but comes with Syrax, but Syrax only sees Rhaenyra as his rider, so Joffrey dies. He is thrown off Syrax. And he was such a baby boy. He was like, he wanted to help. Like, both of his older brothers died. He was the older brother then. He wanted to help and everything. And it's like, why are these 11 and 12 and 13-year-olds and even like fucking 4-year-olds forced to do all this in a war? Like, this is not their war to fight, and I'm so mad that they were forced to do that. Tyrese does die then, because then she goes back to the dragon pit where 4 dragons were slayed, and then she like kills a bunch of people, but then she gets killed. And then Rhaenyra and her last kid standing, Aegon the Third, they just like escape the castle because they can't stay in King's Landing anymore, which is good because like really soon after they start like storming the Red Keep, is that what it's called? Like the castle where they're staying at. But then where do they go from the castle? They go back to Dragonstone because Rhaenyra is the princess, the queen of Dragonstone, and she's always loved Dragonstone. That's like her home. She goes to Dragonstone. Who's in Dragonstone? Aegon. King Aegon, who literally escaped, is in Dragonstone. Rhaenyra gets betrayed again. So I can like kind of understand why she doesn't trust anyone, but it's so annoying because everyone that she should trust, she never catches the actual betrayers, but she pushes away the people she thinks are gonna betray her, which are actually the most loyal to her. So it's like I know she couldn't have known, but as a reader, it's so annoying to read about. She is fucking fed to Sunfire, which fuck Sunfire. Like actually not fuck Sunfire. Like I try to read this book with the mindset that the dragons and the kids are innocent. So that's the mindset I'm gonna have. But Sunfire is, initially she doesn't want to do it, but then like blood is drawn, so she's like, okay, I'm gonna eat her. And Aegon is just so annoying. Like Aegon he's so crippled to the point that he can barely move, he cannot walk, he can't do shit. And then, oh wait, I forgot the most important part. Before Rhaenyra arrives, they're like getting the castle ready so that everyone in the castle is like for Aegon or whatever. But Baela Targaryen is still in the castle. She's in the, where is Rhaena actually? But anyways, Baela is in the castle. She's like locked in her room, but she managed to escape her room, climb out the window, get her dragon, fly away, and then she manages to injure, like, yes, Moondancer dies, which RIP another dragon, I'm so mad, but she manages to injure Sunfire a lot to the point that he can no longer fly or anything. So Aegon is kind of stuck on Dragonstone. But period Baela. Yeah, period Baela. She is her grandmother's. She's her grandmother's grandchild. Alyssa is in the heavens and is like, we assume that Viserys II is gone, which I already know he's not gone because I know that's like a spoiler. But so far all of Daemon's kids are still alive. Every single kid in like the royalty or is dead except Daemon's kids. King Aegon died. It was kind of a loser death, like it was kind of loser, but there's still so many chapters, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But this part was so funny because Boris Baratheon went to battle and he died, but before his wife was pregnant, so before he left he was like, if we have a son, we have to name him Aegon after the king. And look at this. But upon learning of her lord's death in battle, Lady Baratheon named the child Oliver after her own father. She was like, oh, finally rid of him. We're at the aftermath. Larys Strong is such a weird character because, like, what was his goal? He's just like constantly switching sides, and you're like, are you here genuinely just to cause chaos? Like, what is his purpose. It's so sad because Aegon the Third is scared of dragons because all he's ever seen from them is them killing during the war. I'm gonna cry. It's so depressing seeing Queen Jaehaera and King Aegon the Third so depressed. I mean, like, what could we expect because they saw so much tragedy in their lives, but they're so young, and it's so sad. The fact that Aegon, he hates dragons now, and he literally has no friends. Jaehaera never leaves her room. She has no friends either. And Aegon's like only friend is the little bastard boy Gaiman, who has the pale hair. It probably reminds him of his younger brother, and it's like it's so sad. Tywin Lannister was not a bad hand to Aegon III, so I'm really confused over this man because he kept switching sides just like Larys Strong, and it's like one minute he's like stealing the money, and then the other minute he's a good hand to the king. It's like, it's weird. I'm going to finish the video here. I think I probably yapped so much in this video. And also I'm not going to be continuing the book for the moment. I'm probably gonna pick it up towards the end of the week or maybe next week, but for the next couple days I'm gonna be reading other books, taking a break a little bit. Overall, I think for my rating, I think right now, or I think in general, I'm gonna end the book. I'm debating between a 3.75 and a 4. I think it's difficult because I can recognize that the book is really well done, it's really well written and everything, and I understand the vibe he was kind of getting at with the fact that it's written like a history book. So I do like that, but at the same time, I feel like it was just a little bit too difficult for me to get into. I was like comparing other books that are pretty long that I read in just a couple days, and the fact that this took me so long to read proves that I wasn't fully into it. And yeah, I thought at times, honestly, it kind of dragged on, like so much of lores and all of that, yeah, they are related to the Rhaenyras and the Targaryens' cause, but do I really need to know every little detail? I don't know, especially considering half the time we don't even know if it actually happened or not. So it's like, that's why I probably want to give it like a 3.75, but I feel like compared to other books I have rated at 3.75, I have enjoyed this one a little more, but at the same time, do I think I liked it as much as I liked 4-star books that I've rated? I don't think so. So it's kind of like sitting at 3.85, but I don't really rate like that. So I think I want to settle with a 4. I feel happy just on Goodreads, for example, just seeing a 4. I don't want to say I was necessarily disappointed. I think that's not what I was really expecting. And I do think the Game of Thrones series itself, the book series itself, is going to be a little more fast-paced, a little different. I think I flipped through the book and I was like, is this one gonna have dialogue? Because Fire and Blood basically had no dialogue. So, and I noticed that there's a lot of dialogue. So I do think it's gonna be a little more fast-paced and everything, but I was kind of expecting to finish this book and like immediately jump into that series and be so excited. And now I think the Game of Thrones series has gone a little bit lower in my want to read shelf, my TBR. So if you guys I'm sure some of you guys maybe read the book. If you did, leave any thoughts below. Yeah, let me know if you guys want a video similarly for this when I do finally get to the Game of Thrones books. I'll probably have to do one video for each, or like span the video out for like months and months and months. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, like, congratulations. I don't think anyone did, but if you did, wow. And if you'd like to, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.